Hi, this segment is on wielding the drumsticks, or holding the sticks and maneuvering the sticks as efficiently and proficiently as possible. Now before I get into traditional grip, I want to start out with matched grip. That's where your left and right hands are holding the sticks kind of mirror image to each other. Now the most crucial part of any grip is your fulcrum. That's about a third of the way up the drumstick where I'm pinching it between my thumb and my pointer finger. This is the axis or the balance point of the stick. It's where all the motion of the drumstick comes from. And that leaves 3 fingers hanging out outside that you want to wrap underneath the drumstick, so that whenever you play a note, you're using those 3 fingers to kind of manipulate the stick from the underside. You're also using your wrist, and you're also using your arm, all kind of in tandem. So you can imagine the stick kind of as an extension of your body, from your shoulder, through every joint, limb, and tendon, through your fulcrum, all the way to the tip of the drumstick. Now there's 2 variations of match grip. There's French grip or timpani grip, where your sticks are more parallel, your thumbs are on top of the stick, used for timpani rolls, real quick single stroke rolls. I use more of a German grip, where I'm going to throw my elbows out to the side a little bit further, and my sticks are at about a 90-degree angle pointed straight out in front of me. I found this to be the most efficient way to play, because when you're in this position, the backs of your hands are facing up towards the ceiling. And the way that your wrist is designed, it's designed to move up and down like this, and you'll have a far greater range of motion like this than you do with your thumb on top. If you try this, you can feel you're a little bit more stifled this way. And the way that your body was designed ergonomically, the biomechanics of your arm gives you 2 bones that run up the length of your forearm onto your wrist and connect with your wrist like this. And it's a lot easier for that joint to move like this than like this. You're actually kind of grinding against cartilage this way. So with your elbows popped out, your sticks at a 90-degree angle, in this position you should be able to look over your wrist and see about an inch and a half of stick coming out the back of your hand. Also make sure that your wrists are above the surface that you're playing on. The perfect position is right about belt buckle level, and if you have your wrists above that, you can make sure that you're hitting the center of that surface with the tip of the stick instead of the edge of that surface with the side of the stick. You get a lot better bounce or rebound hitting that surface in the middle with the tip of the stick. Now, rebound is the idea that if you throw a stick down on any surface, will have some kind of a natural rebound. That means the stick, if you throw it straight down, it's going to come right back up to where it came from. So if you start out making sure you can start up straight up and down, throw the stick down and see if you can get the stick to bounce right up into that same position to make sure that you're going in a straight line. Any side-to-side motion that you make is just kind of wasted effort, because you want to come straight down onto that surface. Now, imagine when you dribble a basketball, it's kind of a throw and catch motion. When you're playing straight time or evenly spaced notes, I want you to see if you can kind of capture the essence of that throw and catch motion, letting the stick go, snapping it with your fingers and your wrist at the end, and then loosening up your fingers, letting your wrist kick back and your arm in response, just to keep that even flow going. Once you're pretty comfortable with that, throw that on your other hand, and make sure that all the same things that your right hand was doing, you can also master on your left hand. Now, the most overlooked element of this grip boils down to your pinky. And I want to talk a little bit about the position of your pinky. If this is your fulcrum or the center point of a teeter-totter, let's say there was a weight on this end that you want to maneuver. In order to use this lever the way that it was designed, you want to be as far away from that surface as possible to manipulate it. And that's right where your pinky is. Also, if your pinky slips off the stick and it's not there to guide the stick, the next thing to go is going to be your ring finger, because the way that your fingers were designed, you should be able to move more or less all of your fingers independently of each other until you get down to your pinky and ring finger. whenever you move your pinky, your ring finger wants to follow that same motion because they actually share tendons here in the palm of your hand. So keep that in mind. If you see or feel your pinky slipping off the stick, pull it back into position. At least, I call this the unifinger. If you can get your pinky and ring finger to kind of touch each other, just make sure they're doing the same thing. Their job is pretty much the same when you're maneuvering the stick like this. One more thing, here's an exercise on the strength of your pinky in this stroke. Take your hand, squeeze it into a fist. Like really squeeze it, make those knuckles turn white. Now relax your hand. Now do the same thing that you just did, but leave your pinky out of it. Squeeze it into a fist. You should notice a significant difference in the strength of that fist just by leaving out your smallest digit. It's a good way to kind of drive it home. So whenever you're going over your angles, look for that 90-degree angle. Make sure that the back of your hand is facing up towards the ceiling. Your sticks are coming straight up and down. You're hitting the center of the surface with the tip of the stick. And you're using that rebound so that you never even have to lift the stick back up. You just let it go down and let gravity and bounce take care of everything else for you. Once you can play straight time on one hand, speed it up a little bit. And you'll notice the faster that you go, you'll be using more and more wrist and finger, less and less arm. The quicker that you go. Do that same thing on your left hand, just to kind of get a good feel for playing at different tempos. And once you're pretty comfortable with that, try transitioning back and forth. It's a good place to start with 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and pass that right on to the next hand 8 notes later, and try to make that transition as seamless as possible just to keep that straight time going. Now, once you're pretty comfortable with that, try 16 notes on a hand. This will kind of get into your head 4 groups of 4 notes, counting all the way up to 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you notice up towards the end it becomes a little bit of a tongue twister between 11 and 16. If you can get into your head a 16th note count, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. There's one syllable for every stroke that you're playing. And it also will help you later on in subdividing notes, in grouping notes together, just by thinking 4 groups of 4. So once you can play straight time on one limb, pass that off onto your other limb, send that back and forth and gradually speed it up, you know, like after 16 notes on your left hand, when you're ready to repeat it on the right hand, kick it up a notch in tempo and see if you can hold that down for the next 16 notes. Pass it back and forth, and whenever you're comfortable with it, when you start on your right hand again, speed it up a little bit, see if you can match that tempo in your left hand, so on and so forth. I would also do this with alternate sticking. That's just going back and forth, 1 note each, trying to keep those nice and even. Speed them up gradually, and if you get like a gallop, something like that going on, try to even that out, hold it there for a little bit, and then speed it up a little bit until you get to your max tempo, then hold it there. Make sure it's steady more than it's fast, and after working on that for a while, you'll be able to speed that up from that point on. I would do this with double strokes as well, playing 2 notes on a hand and passing it back and forth, gradually speeding that up, keeping your transition sound. Now, I talked earlier about the rebound. If you pinch your fulcrum and kind of press the stick into the pad, not letting it recoil all the way back up, you can get multiple notes out of one stroke. If you can choke the stick or squeeze it, keep it from bouncing anymore, after the second note, this is a diddle or a double stroke, 2 real quick notes on one hand. And you can see when I'm playing double strokes, I'm sticking them out, meaning I'm playing every single note using the same technique. Now at a certain point when I speed this up, I'm going to stop sticking it out. I'm going to start using more and more bounce. Right around here, So that's matched grip in a big nutshell, with a little bit of a warm-up exercise at the very end. So take these ideas and run with it. Work on those 16th note counts, and work on that technique, trying to match up your left hand to your right hand, unless you're ambidextrous or left-handed. In that case, work on your left hand, figure out what makes that tick, and then when you pass that back onto your right hand, make sure you're using the same technique, same kind of angles, same fluid motion. I'm out.